My story. Commander, Lieutenant Sarah Collins said, breaking his focus. Her voice was steady, but her eyes hinted at concern. We're picking up a distress signal from an uncharted planet. It's faint but definitely there. Location? Alex asked, leaning closer to the screen. Coordinates locked in. It's about 30 minutes away from our current position. The anticipation in her voice matched the intensity in his. Captain Harper will want to investigate, Alex replied. Prepare for descent. Minutes later, the crew gathered in the conference room, the buzz of chatter filling the air. Captain Harper paced the room while Lieutenant Collins tapped her foot anxiously. Everyone, listen up, the captain said, his tone authoritative yet calm. We've received a distress signal from a nearby planet. We're not sure who or what it's from, but we need to check it out. Is it wise to land? An ensign questioned. We don't know what's on the surface. Wise or not, curiosity has never been humanity's strong suit, Alex chimed in, eliciting a chuckle from Sarah. Besides, this might be an opportunity to build bridges or at least learn about new cultures. Harper nodded. Agreed. Alex, you'll lead the medical team once we land. Prepare for anything, just in case. As the Serenity broke through the atmosphere of the uncharted planet, thick clouds enveloped the ship like a shroud. Alex felt the weight of uncertainty settle in. Descending to surface in 10 seconds, the pilot called out, bringing the team back to focus. The ship rocked slightly upon landing, and Alex gathered his gear, heart racing with a mixture of eagerness and apprehension. The captain led the way out of the ship into the murky, green-tinted foliage of the alien landscape. Stay alert, everyone, Harper instructed while stepping out. We don't know what we're dealing with. The strange flora around them pulsated with bioluminescent patterns. It was unlike anything Alex had ever seen. Breathing deeply, he reminded himself of the mission's purpose. Then, a faint sound caught his attention, a low, mournful cry. Did you hear that? He asked, turning to Sarah. Yeah. Sounds like it's coming from over there, she replied, pointing toward a clearing that twisted through the dense trees. Let's check it out, Alex said, moving ahead with determination. The team followed closely, the anticipation palpable. They pushed through the underbrush until they reached a small village, humble structures made of bioluminescent materials. The cries grew louder, leading them to a center where a gathering of Arathen stood around a figure lying on the ground. Stay back, Harper warned, taking a protective stance. We don't know if this is hostile. That's not a weapon, it looks like someone is hurt, Alex observed. He could see the shimmering scales of the figure, a female Arathen, her body contorted in pain. We need to help her. Ignoring Harper's protest, Alex stepped forward, his medkit clutched tightly in his hand. I'm a medical officer, he called out, his voice steady. I can help. The Arathen parted slightly, and their bright, curious eyes studied him. They spoke to one another in their melodic language, their expressions a blend of fear and intrigue. Do you think they understand? Sarah whispered, her brows knitted. Just be ready for anything, Alex replied, kneeling beside the injured alien. The Arathen female's emerald green gaze locked onto his, almost pleading. Her intricate scales were marred with cuts and bruises, evidence of a struggle. Lyra, one of the Arathen, presumably a leader, stepped forward cautiously. You, human, can you help her? Yes, I need to look at her wounds, Alex stated firmly, trying to maintain his composure. With a nod from the leader, he began to assess the situation. I need water, he directed Sarah, who quickly found a container nearby. Filling it, she handed it to him. Thanks, he said, soaking a cloth to clean the wounds on Lyra's arms. As he worked, her gaze remained on him, the intensity of her emerald eyes drawing him into her world, a world of pain and fragility. Is she going to be okay? Sarah asked, watching closely. We'll find out, Alex replied, focusing on his task. Lyra, can you hear me? I need you to try and stay calm. Lyra nodded slightly, though it pains her to do so. I thank you, she managed, her voice soft but filled with emotion. You can understand me? Alex asked, surprised yet relieved. Words, difficult, she said, her attempts at communication striking a chord within him. Take your time, he encouraged, his fingers brushing against hers as he gently secured the bandages. He could feel a peculiar warmth spread between them, a connection blossoming from the depths of fear and vulnerability. Who are you? Lyra inquired, her voice gaining strength. I'm Commander Alex Reed, A medic from Earth, he responded, locking eyes with her. I'm here to help. I need you to rest. Lyra sighed, her body relaxing slightly as his skilled hands worked. The surrounding era then watched, their uncertain expressions softening as they witnessed the tenderness unfolding. The village leader frowned. We should leave. Humans are... No! Lyra interrupted, her voice cutting through the tension. I want him here. He helps. Alex exchanged glances with Harper and Sarah, gauging their reactions. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted. The Era-then leader's stern face began to show signs of acceptance, and they began to murmur amongst themselves. Your courage speaks volumes, the leader finally said, bowing his head slightly. If she trusts you, perhaps we can find common ground. As exhaustion began to weigh heavily on Lyra, Alex whispered, Stay with me, Lyra. You'll be okay. I know, she replied, her voice trembling yet resolute. Minutes stretched into hours as the sun dipped below the horizon, the vivid colors of the sky softly contrasting with the darkness encroaching upon the world. With the village encircling them, Alex continued to tend to her wounds, words of hope and compassion cloaking the atmosphere. Don't worry. You'll have plenty of stories to share once you're up and about, he reassured her, wiping away the remnants of pain. As they shared their first moments together, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter would change everything. Not just for himself, but for both their worlds. Chapter 2: Language and Understanding. The days following Alex's initial treatment of Lyra were a whirlwind of activity. The village oscillated between cautious curiosity and warm acceptance, especially as Lyra began to regain her strength. Alex and his team became regulars in the small community, bridging the gap between two worlds. One evening, as the sun set casting a golden hue over the village, Alex sat beside Lyra in a small clearing surrounded by bioluminescent plants. The gentle glow illuminated her features, revealing both her delicate beauty and her quiet determination. How are you feeling today? He asked, glancing up from his medkit. He'd become adept at treating her wounds, but now he longed to understand her better. Better, Lyra replied, her voice still soft but deeper now, filled with resolve. I can stand for short times. Let's see, Alex smiled, extending his hand. She took it, and together they rose slowly. They emerged into the open, where the villagers gathered around a fire, laughter and songs dancing in the air. Lyra, a child shouted, dashing toward them. It was a young Era-then with vibrant scales, curious eyes, and a hesitant smile. Can you show me how to make plants glow? Lyra's face lit up and she crouched down to meet the child's eager gaze. Not glowing, but using them to create light, she corrected with a laugh. Teach me, the child pleaded, bouncing on their toes. Later, little one. I need to heal fully first, Lyra said, glancing back at Alex. But perhaps I can teach you one day. Promise? The child asked, eyes wide. Promise, Lyra responded, her voice warm. Observing their interaction sparked something in Alex. The connection they shared was palpable. He felt a tinge of joy at seeing her flourish even here, amidst uncertainty. Lyra, Alex began, hesitant yet curious. How does your people communicate? I know a few words, but it's hard to follow. She straightened, clearly pleased by the question. We have our own language. Each sound is a combination of emotions and meaning. As she spoke, her fingers moved gracefully through the air, mimicking the flow of her words. Can you teach me? Alex asked, his excitement bubbling to the surface. Yes, let's start with simple phrases, Lyra suggested. Repeat after me. Allah 6 means I see you. Allah 6, Alex echoed, trying to emulate her melodic tones. Good. And Taika means friend. Taika, he said, a smile breaking across his face. I think I can get the hang of this. Lyra beamed. It's about feeling the sounds, not just saying them. What do you feel when you say Taika? He asked, intrigued. I feel warmth. Connection. Safety, she replied, her gaze unwavering. Alex pondered her words, feeling a strange warmth seep into his own heart. Do you think we can make it more than just friendship? He asked, his voice dropping slightly. Lyra's eyes flickered, a mixture of surprise and possibility in her expression. Could we? She murmured, contemplating his question. We are from different worlds. Different worlds, but shared experiences, he countered. We've both faced uncertainty, pain, and now this. This, she whispered, glancing around at their surroundings where villagers danced and shared stories. Perhaps we are more similar than we think. As the weeks passed, their shared language became stronger, and Alex found himself drawn more closely to her with each day. He spent hours teaching her English while she adeptly shared her own language, infusing every lesson with laughter and moments of connection. One afternoon, as they sat beneath a great tree, Lyra perched on a sturdy branch and demonstrated how to articulate complex feelings through sounds. Listen carefully, she instructed, her voice lilting. Alex leaned in closer, enraptured. Go on. Like this, Lyri means happiness. It's soft and joyful. She uttered the sound beautifully, and it almost resonated in the air. Lyri, he mimicked, attempting to encapsulate her joy in his voice. Better, she grinned. Now let's try zing for sadness. She pronounced it with a somber tone that made Alex feel the emotions seep into him. Zong, he repeated, trying to match her intensity. Lyra tilted her head. You feel it already? Yes, it's hard not to, he admitted. You've taught me more than words. A comfortable silence settled between them, the weight of unspoken feelings growing. She met his gaze, her emerald eyes sparkling under the soft light filtering through the leaves. A few villagers passed, casting curious glances at the duo. Here comes Karen, she said suddenly, breaking the moment as the village elder approached. Karen. Alex called, excited to see the elder engage in their lessons. Can you join us? The elder smiled warmly. What are you teaching? Lyra is showing me how to understand her language, Alex stated. It's fascinating. Very good, Karen said, nodding approvingly. Language reveals much about a people. Lyra explained Lyri and zing to me, he continued, eager to share. But I cannot express what I feel beyond English. Then perhaps I can assist, Karen suggested thoughtfully. Emotions often bridge the gap between languages. Please. Lyra urged, her eyes shining. Let me show you a phrase that connects us all, Karen began. In both Arathan and common terms we say we are one. We are one, Alex echoed, trying to absorb the significance. The elder smiled, his bright eyes meeting Lyra's, then Alex's. Language is a living thing. It binds hearts. With practice, you will not only speak but also feel. That's exactly what I want, Alex said earnestly. Not just for myself but for our people. Then teach me English words I cannot express, Lyra suggested eagerly. The three spent the afternoon exchanging language and culture. Karen's wisdom brought depth to their lessons while Alex found joy in watching Lyra's confidence grow. Thank you for sharing this with us, Lyra said to Karen as evening encroached, casting shadows across the clearing. Thank you for being willing to learn, Karen replied sincerely. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Alex could sense something had shifted. He glanced at Lyra, feeling the gravity of their evolving relationship. Every lesson, every moment shared, was weaving an intricate tapestry of connection. Tomorrow, I want to learn something new, Lyra announced, determination evident in her voice. Perhaps a new phrase? Alex suggested, excitement bubbling within him. Yes, and ways of healing. I can help you understand my people's methods, she replied, eyes ablaze with inspiration. Then it's settled. We'll explore more than just words. As they stood in the fading light, the spark between them ignited into something more profound, a bond not defined by boundaries but by the richness of understanding and shared experiences. Chapter 3, The Healing Touch. The sun rose on the uncharted planet, casting a warm glow that filtered through the lush canopy. Alex woke to the soft hum of the village beginning its day, a symphony of chatter and laughter drifting in from outside. He smiled, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. Today, he would delve deeper into Lyra's world and explore the Arathan ways of healing. After a quick breakfast with the crew, he made his way to the central gathering point where they had often met. Lyra was already there, surrounded by several curious villagers. Her bright eyes sparkled with enthusiasm as she spoke animatedly. Alex, she called, waving him over. He felt the familiar warmth rush to his cheeks as he approached. Good morning, Lyra. What are we doing today? He asked, stepping into the circle, eager to join her. I'll teach you about our healing practices, she replied excitedly, her scales glimmering in the morning light. It's not just about medicine, it's about balance. Balance? He echoed, intrigued. How does that work? Lyra motioned for him to sit down as the other villagers seemed to drift closer, interested in the lesson. Healing is a connection both with the body and the mind. We use herbs, sure, but we also connect with the energy of the earth and ourselves. Sounds poetic, he said, a teasing smile gracing his lips. It is, she replied, returning his smile. But the essence of healing comes from understanding the person who needs help, not just the wounds they bear on the surface. I get that. I've seen how emotional wounds can affect physical health. What do I need to know? First, let's gather some herbs, Lyra suggested, pointing to a nearby grove of plants. You will learn how we use them and how they grow together. Lead the way, Alex said, excited. They walked deeper into the forest, the vibrant flora surrounding them. As they collected various herbs, Lyra explained their properties, her hands deftly working through the foliage. This one, she said, separating a cluster of small purple flowers, is called Zali. It soothes pain and promotes healing. Zali, Alex mused, repeating the word slowly, trying to ensure he remembered it. Good. And this, she continued, grabbing a thick green leaf, is called Andrini. It can heal cuts and scrapes, but we use it for emotional wounds too. Emotional wounds? He asked, raising an eyebrow. Yes, they can infect the spirit just like a physical wound can infect the body, she explained, eyes earnest. When someone is troubled, it can make them sick. I know people who would benefit from that, he admitted, reflecting on his own life back on Earth. They filled their basket, Lyra teaching him the different names and uses for each herb. Alex marveled at her knowledge and passion, finding himself wrapped in the moment. Now we return and prepare the remedies, she insisted, determination in her voice. Back at the village, they set up a small workstation under a large tree. Villagers looked on, curious about the process. Will you demonstrate for us, Lyra? One asked shyly. Yes. Come closer, she encouraged, positioning herself so everyone could see. She took the Zali flowers and began to crush them with a pestle in a wooden bowl. We start by enhancing their properties. As she mixed the herbs, her movements were fluid and graceful. Alex watched, fascinated, trying to memorize each step. What do we do next? He asked, eager to participate. Now you will help me create a poultice. Take the Andrini and crush it the same way. Alex mimicked her actions, trying to match her skill. Like this. Exactly. You're getting it, she praised, and he felt a rush of joy at her encouragement. After they prepared the poultice, Lyra demonstrated how to apply it to a simulated wound on a rag. And this will help soothe the pain and promote recovery. But remember, it's not just about the herbs, it's about the intent you put into your work. The intent? Alex repeated, intrigued. How does that work? Your energy, your focus, when you believe in what you're doing, it transfers to the patient, she explained. You connect with them. Alex found himself nodding as she spoke. Well, that sounds familiar. I've always felt that caring about someone makes a difference, even in traditional medicine. Exactly. You understand. Lyra smiled, her enthusiasm infectious. So, I just have to think good thoughts while applying this, he joked, trying to lighten the mood. Essentially, yes, but being present is very important, she clarified, growing serious. It involves listening, understanding, and trusting the process. I can do that, Alex promised, feeling more at ease. What's next? Now we need someone to try it, she announced, looking at the gathering crowd. Who would like to volunteer? Karen, the village elder, stepped forward, showing his arm where a minor cut had festered. I will. Thank you, Karen, Alex said, feeling a rush of adrenaline. Lyra showed them how to apply the poultice and instructed Alex to gently place it on Karen's arm. He concentrated, channeling his belief in the herbs as he pressed the mixture into the wound. Careful, she warned softly. Feel the energy. I'm feeling something, he replied, focusing harder. Good. It's like sending out a signal. Focus on healing. As they finished, Karen looked at them with a mixture of gratitude and curiosity. How does it feel? Alex asked. Warm, Karen replied. Comforting. You both do well. Now we wait. Lyra's gaze flickered to Alex and excitement danced in her eyes. And this is the first step. First step, he echoed, still buzzing from the experience. As Karen smiled, he felt a sense of accomplishment. The villagers clapped, showing their approval, and Alex couldn't help but beam back. What do we do next? He asked, his heart racing. Learning is ongoing, Lyra replied, her expression shifting to intrigue. Next, we'll study herbs that help with emotional balance. He grinned at her. Let's do it. Together, she said, locking eyes with him. The sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. As they gathered more herbs, Lyra. Keep exploring, he smiled, feeling lighter than he had in years. As they stood amongst the beauty of the alien flora amidst the laughter of the villagers, Alex realized he was no longer just a medic on a diplomatic mission. He was part of something greater, something that might change everything. Chapter 4, The Guardian. The moon hung high in the night sky, casting a silvery glow over the village. Alex sat outside his shared quarters, reflecting on the journey he had taken since arriving on this alien world. Healing herbs, shared laughter, and an undeniable bond with Lyra occupied his thoughts. But tension loomed on the horizon, threatening to disrupt the fragile peace they had built. As he sat lost in contemplation, footsteps approached. It was Lyra, her smile radiant in the moonlight. "Mind if I join you?" she asked, her voice soft yet vibrant. "Not at all," Alex replied, gesturing to the space beside him. "Just thinking about how much has changed since we got here." "Has it been that long?" she asked, settling next to him, her scales shimmering in the night. "Feels like I've known you forever," he said, glancing sideways at her. "You've taught me more than I ever expected." Lyra chuckled lightly. "And you've shown me the strength of your people." Their moment was interrupted by the sound of hurried footsteps. Karen hurried into the clearing, his expression grave. "Alex, Lyra, we have a situation." Lyra straightened, concern immediately shadowing her features. "What is it?" "There's been a report of strange visitors at the edge of the village," Karen explained, his voice low. "They're not from our people." "Visitors?" Alex felt a prickle of apprehension. "What kind of visitors?" "Hard to say," Karen replied. "But they've been seen in the direction of the old ruins." "What should we do?" Lyra asked, her voice steady, but Alex could sense the undercurrent of fear. "We need to investigate, but be careful," Karen urged. "We don't want to alarm them or expose ourselves unnecessarily." "I'll go," Alex volunteered, determined to protect Lyra and the village. "No, we must go as a group," Karen countered, glancing at Lyra for support. "You'll need to stay safe." "I can defend myself," Alex insisted, and Lyra placed a hand on his arm. "Let's all go," she suggested. "Together, we can assess the situation without resorting to aggression." Karen considered her words and finally nodded. "All right, but we stay hidden until we know more." The three moved cautiously through the underbrush, the moonlight guiding their path. Alex's heart raced, he could feel the tension in the air. After a short walk, they reached the old ruins, ancient stone structures shrouded in vines and foliage. "Stay close," Karen whispered as they crouched behind some large rocks, peering out into the clearing where the figures stood. The visitors were unlike anything Alex had seen. Shrouded in dark, flowing fabrics and intricately adorned with metallic accessories, they moved with an air of confidence. As they spoke in low, guttural tones, Alex felt a chill run down his spine. "Can you make out what they're saying?" Lyra whispered, her hand tightening around his. "Not really," he replied. "But they don't look friendly." Suddenly, one of the figures glanced in their direction. Heart-pounding, Alex pressed deeper into the shadows. "Have they seen us?" Lyra breathed, her eyes wide. "Hold still," Karen replied, his voice steady. "Let's observe a little longer." The group of visitors began discussing strange instruments, pulling out devices that glowed faintly in the dark. Alex furrowed his brow, recognizing some as weapons. "What are they doing here with those?" he murmured, feeling anger bubbling within him. "Looks like they're scouting our territory," Karen replied, eyes narrowing. "We need to act. What do you have in mind?" Lyra asked, her voice low yet assertive. "Retreat for now and gather more villagers." "We need to prepare defenses," Karen suggested. "Agreed. We can't let them think we're an easy target," Alex said, glancing back at the visitors. As they turned to leave, the unexpected happened. One of the visitors shouted, "We know you're there. Show yourselves." "What do we do?" Alex hissed, and Karen motioned for them to stay put. Without warning, the visitors surged toward their hiding spot, weapons raised and ready for confrontation. "Run!" Karen barked, and they scrambled through the underbrush, fear driving their movements. They raced back to the village, adrenaline coursing through their veins. As they reached the center, villagers were already stirring, sensing the disturbance. "Gather everyone. We have intruders," Karen shouted, rallying the inhabitants. "Alex," Lyra called, panic evident in her voice. "What do we do?" "Prepare defenses and secure the perimeter," he ordered, though the uncertainty gnawed at him. With the villagers rushing to follow Karen's commands, Alex turned to Lyra. "Stay safe. We'll get through this together." "I won't leave your side," she declared, determination shining in her eyes. As the villagers armed themselves with makeshift weapons, sticks, stones, and anything they could find, Alex felt a surge of gratitude for their unity. "Do you see them?" Karen asked as he emerged from a group of gathered villagers. "We're outnumbered. We need a plan." Alex glanced at the defensive line forming along the settlement's edge. "What if we try talking first? If they're just scouting?" "Let's not assume good intentions," Karen cautioned. "They may not be here to negotiate. But what if they're just here for information?" Lyra interjected, eyes wide with concern. "If we can show them we mean no harm." "Lyra, I understand your sentiment, but this is different," Karen replied. Alex looked at Lyra, weighing their options. Maybe we can find a middle ground. They came here, but we don't know why. If we can speak to them first. Then you'll endanger yourself, Karen warned, eyes narrowing. No, I won't go alone. I'll take Lyra with me, Alex insisted. Are you sure? Lyra asked, her voice steady despite the fear. We're in this together, Alex assured her. You and I have established trust, and that could make a difference. After a moment of deliberation, Karen sighed, his eyes flashing with awareness. All right, but we moved slowly and cautiously. The group fell silent as Alex and Lyra stepped to the forefront, facing the clearing where the visitors had been last seen. The tension was palpable as the villagers watched closely, ready to spring into action. As they walked toward the outer edges, Lyra murmured, if they attack, we need to retreat quickly. Agreed, Alex said quietly, focusing on maintaining his composure. They entered the clearing, the moonlight illuminating the scene. The visitors stood there, surprised to see them approach. Stay back, one barked, raising his weapon. We come in peace, Alex shouted, hoping to get through to them. Peace, another scoffed. You are trespassing on our territory. This is a misunderstanding, Lyra interjected, stepping closer. We are not your enemies. The leader of the visitors stepped forward, drawn to Lyra's confidence. And how do we know you're not deceiving us? Because we want to understand why you are here, Alex replied, attempting to keep his voice steady. If you seek power through conflict, we won't stand aside as victims. But we prefer dialogue. The group exchanged wary glances, uncertainty flickering in their eyes. Lyra took a deep breath and stepped even closer. If we truly are different, we can find a way to coexist, but only if you're willing to talk. A tense silence hung in the air as the visitors considered her words. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the leader lowered his weapon slightly. We will listen. But know this, mistrust is a powerful force. That's why we're here, Alex replied, hopeful that they could find common ground amid uncertainty. As they gathered in that clearing, the moonlight illuminating their faces, Alex sensed that perhaps, just perhaps, their bond could pave the way for understanding, a vital first step in navigating their vastly different worlds. Chapter 5, A Promise Beyond Stars. The tension in the clearing was palpable as Alex stood facing the visitors. The group's leader, a tall figure with elaborate markings on his skin, lowered his weapon, allowing a glimmer of possibility to breathe life into the standoff. What do you propose? The leader asked, skepticism lacing his voice. We want to understand why you are here and what you want, Lyra answered, her voice steady and inviting. We've had a peaceful existence. This can be an opportunity for dialogue rather than conflict. There was a brief silence as the visitors exchanged uncertain glances. Alex stepped closer, feeling a strange camaraderie forming in the space between them. It's easy to feel threatened, he continued, his tone even. We're different, but we all want to survive and prosper. Maybe we can help each other instead. What makes you think we want to help your kind? The leader countered, crossing his arms. Because different doesn't have to mean enemies, Alex replied. If I've learned anything here, it's that understanding comes through conversation. We've both seen our share of conflict. Wouldn't it be better to build something new together? Building something new requires trust, the visitor said cautiously. And we've known nothing but deception from your people. Lyra stepped forward, her emerald eyes fierce. Trust is earned. Let us show you who we are. If this is to be a new beginning, it must begin somewhere. And what if we find your words to be empty? The leader replied, studying her. Then we are no better than you believe, Alex interjected. But if we can find common ground, we might pave the way for mutual benefit. Show us what you seek, and we'll show you what we have. The leader glanced at his companions, his expression thoughtful. Fine. We'll listen. Great, Alex said, feeling a mix of relief and tension ease within him. Let's walk and talk. Standing here achieves nothing. As they began to move, the visitors maintained a close watch on Alex and Lyra, who walked side by side. The surrounding villagers remained vigilant, their weapons ready but held low, waiting for cues from their leaders. The group found a nearby grove where they could gather more comfortably, the trees providing a natural amphitheater. I am Yarrick, leader of the Tauren, the visitor finally introduced himself, his voice resonant. We have traveled far from our home seeking resources we are lacking. Resources? Lyra asked, intrigued. What do you need? Water purification technology and access to fertile lands for growing food. Our home has faced harsh conditions, Yarrick explained. We believed if we came swiftly, we could take what we needed without conflict. Alex's heart sank. That doesn't have to be the way. We can find ways to share technology without robbing each other. But how do we know you won't just use us to gain advantages? Yarok questioned, skepticism still clinging to his tone. Because we've been in your shoes, Alex replied, searching for the right words. Our planet once faced scarcity and grew too aggressive due to fear. It taught us that cooperation is the key to survival. Lyra nodded, adding, we have resources and knowledge that can benefit both of our cultures. If you need technology, let's find ways to share without taking. Yarok studied them for a moment, eyes narrowing in thought. If you are so confident, what do you suggest? Let's start with a trade agreement, Alex proposed, trying to think on his feet. You bring representatives of your people to our village, and we'll bring specialists to discuss technology. Each side can explain what they can offer. If we trust each other, we can build a relationship. Yarok remained silent for a moment, weighing the proposal. This will require efforts from both sides. Exactly, Lyra interjected, her enthusiasm rekindling. It must be a two-way street built on shared goals and intentions. Yarok turned to his companions, who whispered amongst themselves. After several moments, he returned his attention to Alex and Lyra. You've intrigued me. If we were to consider this alliance, it must begin immediately with trust-building actions on both sides. What did you have in mind? Alex asked. We will offer to assist in the construction of any of your agricultural technologies, Yarok suggested, his voice gathering strength. And in return, you will lend us guidance in your medical practices. Both will serve our needs. Sounds fair, Alex replied, encouraged. But as you said, we need to make sure it's equal. Balance is key. Agreed, Yarok said, nodding. And if we are to establish trust, we can start with a demonstration. I would like to see how you heal. A practice day, perhaps? That could work, Alex confirmed, glancing at Lyra for support. She nodded, her eyes shining with excitement. We can arrange a workshop for you and some of your people, Lyra suggested. We'll show you our methods, but it must be reciprocal. And we will come to you as well. Consider it done, Yarok replied, an edge of determination creeping into his tone. When we meet again, we shall begin to build a new future. As they concluded their agreement, Alex felt the weight of uncertainty lift slightly. He took a breath, looking at Lyra beside him. Did we really just negotiate? Yes, we did, she said, her smile radiant. Incredible things can happen when we stand together. Exactly what I was thinking, he replied, feeling increasingly optimistic. Yarok stepped closer. There's one more thing. Alex raised an eyebrow. What is it? If we are to build trust, let us share more than just resources. Let us share stories of our worlds. Engage with our cultures more fully. I like that idea, Lyra said, her excitement evident. Stories foster connection. Then consider it part of our agreement, Yarok said, crossing his arms. We will exchange stories about our histories and cultures during our workshops. I'll bring tales of Earth, Alex said, brimming with enthusiasm. And Lyra, you can share about the era then traditions. Without question, she replied, her expression brightening. I can show you our way of life and strengths. As the moon reached its apex, bathing the clearing in ethereal light, Alex felt the beginnings of something new. That two worlds might come together not through force but through understanding and connection. Shall we make a promise? Yarok suggested, eyes looking between Alex and Lyra. A promise to work together? Asked Lyra. Yes, Yarok affirmed. Let's bring forth the best in both of our people. I promise to strive for understanding and collaboration, Alex vowed, his heart swelling with hope. I promise to be open to changes. Together, Lyra added, her tone both resolute and warm. The visitors echoed their promises, the words hanging in the air for a moment, powerful in their significance. As they stood among them, he felt not just their distinct worlds merging, but also an everlasting bond taking shape. As they prepared to part ways, Alex turned to Lyra. Do you really think it can work? She smiled, confidence radiating from her. If we believe it can, then it will. In the distance, the village beckoned, and with determination, they embarked on a journey that could reshape both their futures. A chance to heal not just wounds, but also the hearts of two civilizations.